a cost-effective approach to camera deployment that reflected national best practices. We've also renegotiated dramatically more favorable agreements with our vendors. Over the course of 5 months of discussions, management decisions within Metro have streamlined workflows to reduce the estimated costs of body-worn cameras from approximately $40 million to just $2.1 million in FY 2021. Through management, we were able to reduce our staffing requirements from an estimated 200 new staff to 16 additional staff. The operating expenses for this deployment will come from the Public Health and Safety Contingency Fund for MNPD in the Mayor's proposed FY 2021 budget. Our negotiations with Motorola have resulted in an agreement that payments will be deferred until FY 2023. Now, management actions and creative problem solving from our criminal justice partners, including the district attorney, the public defender, and MNPD, have allowed Metro to establish a cost-responsible, full deployment of body-worn and in-car cameras. Metro-wide precinct IT upgrades are able to be completed within 6 months to facilitate the deployment process as rapidly as possible. Deployment will begin in July at West Precinct, which is the only precinct currently with the IT infrastructure in place to support full deployment. Now, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Eric Garner, we know the names of these men and other black victims of police brutality because of cell phone recordings captured by eyewitnesses or bystanders. Body-worn cameras provide accountability when it comes to public safety. Body-worn cameras will promote trust between law enforcement officers and the communities they are sworn to serve. They will be an important tool in addressing racial injustice throughout Davidson County. Now, since campaigning for office, I have supported body-worn cameras in Nashville and the need to invest in this vital technology the right way. We learned important lessons from our Phase 1 body camera deployment, from consultation with the U.S. Bureau of Justice Assistance, and from collaboration with our local criminal justice partners. We are delivering on that commitment today, and we are doing it in a cost-responsible way. I want to welcome Councilwoman Sharon Hurt, who will be speaking today on her own behalf and as a representative of the Metro Council's Minority Caucus. I'm grateful to Councilwoman Hurt for her leadership and commitment to justice and accountability in our community. I also want to thank Council members Delisha Porterfield, Chair of the Education Committee, and Quante Toombs, Vice Chair of our Budget and Finance Committee, for joining us this morning. And I want to welcome Captain Blaine Whitehead of the Metro Nashville Police Department, who will oversee the management and deployment of body-worn and in-car camera systems for the MNPD. Captain Whitehead is here with us to help answer your questions also. But justice does not begin or end with our law enforcement system. The coronavirus has highlighted a digital learning divide in our community. As young Nashvillians who do not have the means to continue their education remotely and engage with their teachers and peers online are placed at a clear and early disadvantage. As of this morning, I am submitting and seeking council approval for approximately $24 million of our $121 million Federal CARES Act Relief Fund to provide every public school student in Nashville, Davidson County with a laptop and internet access. This investment is sufficient for Dell Computers to provide Metro Nashville with up to 90,000 laptops, technically netbooks, for the projected 84,740 students who will be enrolled in public schools this upcoming school year. The cost of each computer will be just above $200 per device, a significant reduction from their list price. Now, of course, these laptops are only useful to the extent that students using them can connect to the internet. And based on a recent MNPS survey, we are estimating that 20% of our students lack the internet access for required remote learning. Now, to meet the needs of these MNPS families, the $24 million investment in our students and our city's future is also sufficient to pay up for up to 17,000 mobile internet hotspots, which will be distributed to students along with their laptops. This is a historic investment in our public school students that will allow for our educators to help bridge the digital divide that most often affects MNPS families in Nashville's historically underserved neighborhoods. Distance learning is a key element of our school's reopening plan, which you will hear more about tomorrow. I want to thank Dr. Adrian Battle, Director of Metro Nashville Public Schools, for joining us today to discuss the department's distance learning strategy in more detail. Now, finally, I have asked the Metro Public Health Department to update all COVID-19 health data privacy procedures with additional safeguards. Once implemented, name and address data of COVID-positive individuals will reside exclusively on a secure health department server with limited access by first responders, and the data will be kept on the server for no more than 14 days. A technical working group led by Metro ITS will work with public health to create an auditable process by which a database is securely accessed to retrieve the minimum necessary information to assist in public safety. This policy will maximize privacy protections for Davidson County residents while protecting our first responders and mitigating the spread of the virus. Now, please remember, if you are exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19, do not hesitate to call Metro's COVID-19 hotline at 615-862-7777, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. COVID-19 assessments and testing is free of charge at all 3 of our community assessment centers. And always, the COVID-19 Response Fund is available to those seeking direct financial, food, mental health, and social service assistance at the Metro COVID-19 website. Now I'll turn it over to Dr. Alex Jahangir, Chair of the Metro Coronavirus Task Force. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cooper, and good morning. Here's the latest on the coronavirus in Davidson County. We now have 6,228 confirmed cases. That is an increase of 72 cases in the past 24 hours. 1,415 cases are currently active, and 4,741 individuals, or 76% of all cases, have recovered and have been cleared. We have also 72 residents in our county that have died because of COVID-19. Now, we continue to see a slight increase in the 14-day rolling average trend. And so, as the mayor said, we have decided not to enter phase 3 yet. Today's numbers of new cases is better than what we have had over the weekend. On Saturday, we had 132 new cases. On Sunday, we had 124 cases. A rolling average of new cases continues to uptick, with this morning's average being 98, and 2 weeks ago, the number was 87. Now, the other metrics, however, are encouraging. The transmission rate continues to be under 1, which is a good sign and shows that our virus is not spreading quicker than before. Our public health capacity continues to be adequate and can respond to new cases and respond in case there is an outbreak of cases. Our testing capacity also remains good in Nashville. In fact, just last week, we had 7,171 tests performed for Nashvillians in Nashville. And more than 65,000 Nashvillians have been tested since this virus broke out in our city. Our hospital capacity also is doing well right now. We have 31% of hospital beds available this morning, and 29% of ICU beds are available in Middle Tennessee as of this morning, both in very good ranges. And there are currently about 100 individuals who are hospitalized in Nashville hospitals. And I want to be clear, these people are not all Nashvillians, because we have such a great healthcare system. People from all over the region who have COVID-19 do come to our hospitals. Now, furthermore, this number of about 100 has been about our average since mid-April. So a number of people hospitalized in Middle Tennessee has been steady at about 100. Now, while most of the metrics are green or in the good range, the rolling 14-day average is still concerning. So that is why we will continue to pause until we enter phase 3 and see what happens over the next few days. Again, this doesn't mean that we're regressing. It doesn't mean that we're going back to phase 1. It just means we're staying at status quo for just a little bit longer. Now, as the mayor said, remember our community assessment centers are open every day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and today is no exception. You can also call our hotline 7 days a week at 615-862-7777, 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. if you have any questions about coronavirus. Now, feel free to go to one of our assessment centers or call our hotline if you have any of the symptoms. And just a reminder what those symptoms are is cough, shortness of breath, loss of smell or taste, a fever, or if you have new onset diarrhea that's unexplained. Now, I want to say, Nashville, we have done a great job at flattening this curve, and I'm grateful to all of you, but I want to be very clear. We are taking a pause and pumping the brakes because we are not out of the woods. And in fact, the past few weeks or days have really given us some reason to pause and think through our data before moving on. So please stay the course, still keep social distancing, wearing a mask, washing your hands, and just being smart about how you're going about your daily life. I'm grateful for everything you all have done to this point, and I know we will move forward soon with your help. I now would like to turn over to Dr. Battle from Nashville Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning. Today, our city, under the leadership of Mayor Cooper, has taken a massive step towards equity. Our school board has been laser focused on accelerating outcomes for all students. One of the biggest challenges our school district faces is the digital divide. While some students have multiple devices to help them learn, talk to their teachers remotely, and complete assignments, many do not. Thousands of our MNPS students don't even have Wi-Fi. That can make remote learning a big challenge. But I know we have the capacity in the city between Metro Nashville Public Schools and our public, private, and nonprofit partners to bridge that divide. We are a city built on generosity, a place where people pitch in to help their fellow citizens succeed. And that's why we're here today. We're here because Mayor Cooper has stepped up to help fill that void. We need equitable access for our students so everyone can learn in any setting. It is past time that our city and our school district provide a device for every student, and now we are moving much closer to reaching that goal. We also know that we have farther to go to ensure equitable access to internet connectivity. Our school board's vision is that we will be prepared this fall to provide an excellent education for every student, regardless of whether we are in our schools or learning remotely, and I greatly appreciate their leadership. Tomorrow, we will be sharing more details about the plans we've been developing to open schools in August in a safe, efficient, and equitable way. We will maintain our focus on equity by making sure that we prioritize areas of the city and students who have the greatest need during our deployment of devices. And then we'll work to fill the need for all students. So Mayor Cooper, thank you. Thank you so much for making our students, their learning, and their growth a priority for Metro's CARES Act funds. Because when our students grow, our city grows too. They are our future. And as we saw with the march that many of them led and participated in last Thursday, they are our present too. These dollars and these devices will make a big impact on our students' lives, and Mayor, we can't thank you enough for making that possible. Thank you. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Councilmember Hurt to share remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. Good morning, everyone. First, I thank Mayor Cooper and recognize colleagues, Council members Delicia Porterfield and Councilwoman Quante Toombs. The full deployment of body-worn cameras in Nashville is a milestone for policing reform and essential for building more public accountability. especially between residents of our Black community and those who must equitably enforce the law. The people of Nashville have spoken. Our Black community has shown up and made their voices heard. It's time to take care of the people, especially those who have been marginalized and victimized over a long, tragic history of systemic racism. An encounter with law enforcement is not something that any Nashvilleian should worry about having to survive. But the reality is, Black Nashvilleians often fear for their lives when simply going about their lives performing mundane, everyday tasks. It's no secret that Metro's financial constraints are great, but Mayor Cooper has demonstrated through this effort with IT infrastructure upgrades starting immediately and deployment rolling out in July as a first step, that his commitment to create tangible change for our Black community is genuine. On behalf of the Minority Caucus, I look forward to continuing to work with Mayor Cooper and our residents to respond to the truth of racial injustice. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hurt. Let's begin today's Q&A session with Julia Palazzo at WKRN. Julia?
Good morning. Thank you so much. Just wanted to ask a quick question, with the nice weather and stuff, and obviously the headlines kind of changing a little bit, either for Mayor Cooper or Dr. Jahangir. What's your message to Nashvilleians that might not be taking COVID-19 as seriously now that it's not dominating the headlines every day? Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Jahangir?
Thank you. I mean, I think in short is this isn't over. Take it seriously. I mean, I literally have now twice stood up here and said we're taking a pause before rolling into phase 3. That is not a decision we take lightly, but it is an important message for people to get. I mean, I appreciate what everyone's done to this point, but this virus is not over. There are a lot of important things going on in this city right now. This is also one of them that I want every Nashvilleian to be aware of. So thank you.
Nancy Amons at WSMB. Nancy?
Hi, thank you. Can you please address how you were able to bring the staffing for the body-worn cameras program from 200 to, I think you said 16? Can you talk about how that staffing level was able to be reduced that way?
Sure. The question was how the staffing levels were reduced so dramatically, and here we have Captain Blaine Whited from the MNPD.
Hey, good morning, Nancy. So after evaluation of our program, we brought in the Bureau of Justice Assistance in February of this year. They went through the Metro Police Department's program in depth, reviewed our program, the district attorney, the public defender, the court systems, and after doing a thorough review, and part of their membership includes district attorneys from other cities, they were able to do a review of our program, and their estimates were much lower than what the estimates that our court systems and district attorneys had originally predicted. So we're going off their advisement, the experts' advisements, to bring those numbers in alignment with their expectations. Thank you.
Harriet Wallace at Fox 17, you're on the air. Harriet? Can you hear us? If not, those are all the questions that we have this morning. I'd like to thank all of today's guests for joining us. The next scheduled Metro COVID-19 press briefing will air on Thursday morning, June 11th at 9:30 a.m. As a reminder...
All right, you have been listening to Mayor Cooper and other Metro officials, the very latest for you this morning. So this is a huge deal right now. We are talking about Mayor Cooper's announcement of these body cameras and that they will be rolling out. This is expected to happen this summer. So the very latest now, he's talking about using $24 million of our Federal CARES Act relief fund that's actually to provide every public school student, that's with a laptop and internet access, talking about 84,700 students enrolled in Davidson County, and with that, up to 17,000 hotspots for students. So that's part of it. And then also talking about this streamlining workflows, renegotiated with vendors, and $40 million down to $2.1 million through the management reduced staffing requirements. They're talking about these body cameras that will be implemented, and this is expected to begin in July, starting in the West Precinct. So again, body cameras going on police officers. Right now, the question you just heard from Nancy Amons was talking about how are we able to go from this massive amount of money and drop that, and we have 200 people originally requested. Now the staffing has been dropped down to, instead of needing 200, it's down to 16. And he said that they've been working with the Bureau of Justice, reviewing this, and now being able to realign with this smaller number and still meet expectations. So we will continue to follow this. Again, the very latest now with COVID, up to 6,228 cases. Of those, though, about 1,400 of them are active. Our death rate right now is sitting at 72 deaths. This is for Davidson County. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and break this down for you much more coming up on News 4 at noon. You can also find the latest online at WSMV.com and on our News 4 app. Just search WSMV. I hope you will join me at noon.
We now return to regular programming.